What is up, everybody? Welcome to my stream, International Master William Pascal, hosting analysis, stream analysis. Move 11, welcome. Welcome to the viewers. Hopefully my sound is working. I forgot to plug in my microphone last stream. Alright, so Thursday night. Good to see you guys. Astrobates here, Move 11. Welcome everybody. Game analysis tonight. I've got submissions from Yudbatis, W, J-Loof, Princess, Astrobate, and Morales. Time for beer analysis. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Move 11, submit a game. Feel free. Sheeperspieler, Chess Bia. They're both streaming. A couple of my friends. Angelica, King Crusher, Hikaru Nakamura. Alright. A little later I'll tell my chess dream. Sheeperspieler rating with a party of 8 for the dream analysis. Analysis dream stream. Jacob DK, thanks for joining us. Welcome Sheeperspieler, thanks for the raid, buddy. What's up? What is up? How'd your simul go? Blitz Simul Master. What is up, guys? Who's tired? He's tired? You tired him out? Guys, welcome to the stream, guys and girls. Dream analysis stream. We got a raid from Sheeperspieler. Thanks for that. 15 wins, 5 losses, 4 draws. I had trouble falling asleep last night. I didn't have any sleep vitamins. And it's crazy. I had the weirdest dream. I just wanted to share it with everybody. I mean, because Hikaru is streaming now. I don't know, he's been streaming a lot. Maybe I think about him or something. But I had this bizarre dream last night. It was so realistic. I never have really detailed realistic dreams. And they almost never have anything to do with chess. Yeah, my melatonin ran out. So after taking melatonin for a week, and then missing my melatonin dose, I get this bizarre dream when I finally go to sleep. So the dream was just the backstory before I start the dream. Of course, I know Hikaru from playing chess years ago. In the States, we played sometimes. We would occasionally exchange chats online or something years ago. I haven't had any contact with him in years. And I see him streaming, although he dropped some gift subs in one of my streams 2 years ago. I don't really, talk to him or know him well. And last night, I had this dream that I invited Hikaru to my birthday party. This is really weird. So that's my dream from last night. It starts out, first of all, it's weird for me to have a birthday party, but whatever. So I don't remember last time I had a birthday party was I don't know, 8th grade or maybe even earlier. Probably 6th grade was my last birthday party. But anyway, I have a birthday party and invite Hikaru to my birthday party. And the first thing I remember is the birthday party must have been streamed or something, because there was we were on some kind of stage, like it was an award ceremony or something. And so Hikaru was presenting me with my gift after coming to my birthday party, and we shared this one of those really awkward kind of hugs. When you don't really know the person but you feel obligated to hug them or something. That was part of my dream. And then, so it turned out that he got me this really cool birthday present. Basically, Hikaru gave me this very expensive vacation package, which was like a choice whether you want to go to like I don't know, sports holiday or poker. Like I think I was going to choose the poker holiday pack or something like that. It was just totally bizarre. Totally random. I mean, I haven't had a birthday party since I was in 6th grade. I haven't seen Hikaru in 15 years. You know, I don't get like, you know, holiday vacation packs for birthday presents really often. But I figured, you know, if he's out there and he's listening, we could maybe like try to talk him into a little poker holiday for Sladgie for my upcoming birthday. But I think it like so I wanted to analyze what were the reasons for this like what were the reasons for my weird Hikaru related birthday present dream. And I just came to the conclusion that I had this fear the other day that nobody would remember my birthday. You know, so just a reminder to everybody. WJ Luke just sent in 2,000 bits. What? Happy Christmas Hanukkah. Yeah, speaking of that, I've got the awesome sideburn, whatever those things are called. So thank you for the 2,000 bits. I'll let you know when my birthday is. I don't know if you can. I don't think you're gonna be able to meet Hikaru's present though. Mutton chops, exactly. Thanks for the pre-birthday, pre-holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa present. 2,000 bits from WJ Loof. It was just super weird having this detailed dream about something that's related to chess. I never have chess dreams. To even have a character, a vivid character in a dream who's a chess player, like Nakamura, is just extremely rare for me. I can't even remember my dreams. I guess it's just an effect of not taking my melatonin or something. I don't know. My dream gift. Yeah, it's like a getaway. Getaway, including... There was no particular place, though. I could choose. It was cool. It was almost like a game. It had the feel of like a game show, though. That was kind of angle. It felt like. Anyway, all right. I had another dream after that I went to Israel, and I was training with some Israeli chess player who seemed very real, but he wasn't really a real person, and I've never been to Israel or had any particular reason to go. That was totally random too, you know. That was like the consecutive dream after my first one, which was weird because they're both chess related, and I never have chess related dreams. Strange. Anyway, all right, dream revelation mod. I think I'm gonna switch from chess to dream analysis. But I think the dream was basically about me feeling afraid that people will not remember my birthday, which is coming up. So that's the deep meaning. But I don't know why like Hikaru. I guess Hikaru was just selected because he's in a position where he can afford to give me a big gift, unlike most people. And secondly, I open Twitch every day and see him streaming out there. So Metal Eagle said, "Hello, can I send you a game for you to analyze today in my dream stream?" Absolutely. Alright, Metal Eagle, I think we got a game from Move 11. So, moving on from dream analysis to chess game analysis. We've got the final game, the Marshall. Move 11. Yes, Metal Eagle, we can do that. I've got room for another game or two. Muchas gracias for the 2,000 bits from WJ Loof. But feel free to submit any kind of dream vacation packages. I think it's also related to the lockdown, being locked in my office for months on end, and having a dream about this thing where you get like a vacation gift. Probably not a coincidence. Alright, so, anyway, I'm going to try to stay awake and start with Yubates. Yubates. Ayubates. If we can scroll through the hate mail here quickly. Hopefully no love letters. Get caught up in the... Where is Yubates? Hate mail or love letters? I try to filter them out. Fan mail. Where the heck is Yubates? Game study. Is that right? Is that right? Was it called game study? Submission for Thursday. Beware might cause sickness. That sounds right. You're welcome. Not sure how long I can stay. Get trapped in blizzard at work. Dude, no way. I keep forgetting you like live on the East Coast and there's all these like storms. I remember the last winter in Massachusetts was a disaster. It's so weird living over here and never having snowstorms to worry about. And I've just like completely put it out of my mind. Like the last time I got out in November, so that wasn't a big deal. It was the previous winter where I had a lot of issues, 2018. 2018 there were some storms. We were actually not that bad the last couple of years when I was over there. But I think of the Northeast as worse than where you are, WJ Loof. You know, you're fairly considerably further south. Shouldn't get too many blizzards, damn. You are west, though. Just Explained was streaming when he beat Hikaru in Blitz game. Hikaru started sending him really nasty messages. Dude, the guy's nasty, that Just Explained guy. I don't know, I don't like him either, man. He was really rude with me. I'm not going to go into great detail about it. It was a minor incident. But he was extremely rude with me, too, the one time I had to interact with him. I'll just leave it at that. Like, I would definitely take Hikaru's side. But listen, man, I mean, you gotta think the other thing is, guys like that, they're using Hikaru to, like, further their, I mean, I know Hikaru doesn't like that, too, and I kind of understand it. They're, like, using him, or Magnus Carlsen, or whoever, using them for name recognition all the time. I mean, it does get kind of irritating. You know, other YouTubers will just use you for name recognition. I can kind of... I don't know. I don't like the guy. I like Hikaru, although I didn't when he was a kid. He was a punk when he was little. But I like him better and better since he's grown up. But the Chess Explained guy, I'm sorry, dude. Not really a cool dude. Just my 2 cents. There's probably other things you don't know, you know, that may have gone in the background too. So you can't really judge him. I wouldn't judge Hikaru there. There's a lot going on that we don't see behind the scenes. Anyway, alright, might cause sickness. Here's the game. We don't have full information of any kind of interactions they've had in the past, remember. Alright, so it's Paul ZZ versus Yubates. E4, knight c6, for something new and totally different. D4, D6, and now D5. So this is my game with a young FIDE master. Maybe he's not a FIDE master? I guess he's not a FIDE master. But anyway, a young master, strength player here in Hungary. Fulda Shimon, which I played back in like January or February. This line seems to be the biggest problem. He did the same thing. So not easy for everyone though. A lot of people will overextend themselves. Yubates and I have talked about this before. He's aware of my feelings about this variation. Now C4. I think that's what Foolish Shimon played against me too. Though it's not the only way to play here for white. It's the best by the opening explorer, but I don't put that much faith in that. What Foolish Shaman did, he did like a kind of 4 pawns attack. I was like, damn, he's going to overextend himself. But then he like put on the brakes. He just took a lot of space and then just put on the brakes and kept it. And I was like, man, my position sucks. So I recommended to Yabatis already here. There's an interesting plan. I believe we talked about this probably before he played this game, which is to play e6. This was something I worked on looking at with the chess engine, a kind of Benoni attempt to attack this position, basically involving playing bishop e7 and bishop f6, almost like a, I don't know what you even call that, an alternative deployment for the snake Benoni. What do you call this maneuver? We're trying to use the long diagonal without creating any more like weaknesses. Sans g6. We're not even going to play g6. We're just going to play bishop e7, bishop f6. And if white takes, you take with the bishop on e6. And you just play. Sneaky bishop variation. So that's what I would do after having looked at it for a while with the engine. Against Foolish Shaman, I guess I played either g6 or knight f6. I don't remember my move order. This could also arise, I guess, from modern move order. No, there's still a possibility for like a Gingy Indian type of thing with bishop takes c3, but you don't really want to do that without, probably without the c pawn on c5, like locking down that kind of good outpost on c5. Anyway, bishop takes c3. You'd rather do it in the Gingy Indian when you have a chance to play like f5 first and get control of the e4 square. So bishop g7, bishop e3. Okay, this move is okay, but it looks like mildly random. No, it's not bad though. It's a good move. And now e6. So that's the problem with d5. You've got the chance to kind of chip away at his center. And with Yabatis' setup, e6 is interesting, c6 is interesting. This is the more normal way of doing it, where you attack with the flank pawn rather than the central pawn. I mean, I recommended e6 before because we're playing like bishop e7, bishop f6. Here, it's like you've already developed your king bishop, so you don't have that. But you can go with a hippo like knight e7. Okay, it's interesting. e6, bishop d4. Yeah, I mean, this is a little suspicious, if you ask me. White's wasting an awful lot of time to play bishop e3, bishop d4. So I'm thinking that bishop looks kind of exposed on d4, and maybe we could just play knight f6 and laugh at him. There are obviously different ways to play this. The simplest is like just trade and play e5. Bishop d4, queen d4, e5. You got rid of your bad bishop and a King's Indian-like structure. White is probably spatially slightly better. So most strong players wouldn't play this move. The other possibilities are e5, leaving you with a bad bishop, or the more interesting knight f6. And I thought this was kind of the friskiest move, if you ask me, because now he's committed his bishop here and you're threatening c5. Because that looks actually pretty good. What's he going to do if you play c5 now? What's up, Jim? This really, calls his bluff. Now he's placed his bishop in an exposed position on d4. He can't afford to give that up. We got another love letter. NM Slum. Alright. So, Slum submitted a game. I'm going to get to as many games as I can, but mostly for the subscribers. Bishop, yeah, this looks good. Let's check with the oracle. I like knight f6. You're calling him out. What's he gonna do? Knight f3? Okay. What happens if I play c5? It's like a full-on tempo loss. The computer just wants to play bishop e3, and now we have a totally standard Benoni after that. You didn't really lose time with knight b8. He gave you the time back. This could even transpose to a modern Benoni. I like c5. So I like this variation. What'd you do? You played this. Now you're just going into a closed King's Indian modern defense style position where your bishop isn't great. Goes back. Knight e7, queen d2. This is interesting because Yabata showed me another game very recently where he had knights on f6 and e7. Now he has knights on e7 and b8. This is very close to King's Indian, but the knight's not on f6. Now black's preparing f5. But I'm not sure how much counterplay you have here. I think f3 is a little weird. But I don't know what else he can do. Alright. This looks just like the other game he showed me. Almost identical. But the knight's on a different path. If he gets to here, you could transpose your other game, Yabatis. If the e-knight was on f6, we would have a standard same-ish kind of King's Indian. I don't know. I don't really like closing it up, but I don't know what you're supposed to do here. The hardest thing to do in a King's Indian is to know when to push and when to exchange pawns. I mean, in this position, he's got such a good control of e4. This Petrosian-like lockdown on e4, you don't want to let white... Schieberspieler can teach you guys that in his games. You never want to let white have this like totally ominous domination of the e4 square if you can help it. The problem with this leaves us with very few options. You know, now like the king side is closed and white can play on the queen side with an expansion with c5. We're basically out of pawn breaks other than g4 on the other side, but white hasn't even castled king side yet. So I like white better after f4. If there was a way to keep the tension here, I would do that. f4, bishop f2. Let me turn off the oracle. Welcome, guys and girls. We've got in-depth analysis for your enjoyment. Castle's kingside, 92. So where's white going? I would prefer to castle queenside if I'm white here. I had a similar position with white against Nathaniel Situru, who was an Indonesian IM. I won years ago in a same-ish King's Indian. Of course, his knight would have been on f6 instead of e7, but basically the same position with a knight on a different square. In the same-ish King's Indian, black, it's frowned upon to do what black did here, to play f5 and close the kingside. You have no play, especially since white isn't castled over there. So now knight d7. You can also consider, I guess, like knight a6, maybe. I talked about this with Yabatis in a similar game. The idea of playing c5. Because if you can get this, like take, push c5, play knight c6, and stick a piece on d4. If you can get an outposted piece on d4, you can change the number of lines it analyzes under options. Down on the where the arrows are, you can go to options, opening explorer, table bases. Maybe not. It's not there. Okay, it's over here. The hamburger on the right, you can just like change best move, multiple lines up to 5. Can you guys see that? What I'm talking about? No, I'm just telling you. Anyway, when you go on your analysis board, down on the right, there's a hamburger. You click on that, and then change the computer analysis to multiple lines. But anyway, this is a good plan. I think that white's probably better off not giving up the pawn and just playing safe here. But it's a very hard position for both sides to break through if he does that. If he takes here this way, maybe pawn takes, white can play c5 or something. Then black pushes d5. It's a tricky situation. White has to try to stop black from playing c5, knight c6, and knight d4. Getting a outpost on d4. We looked at something similar today. Now knight d7, stopping c5. Okay. Here, g5, g4. Yeah, I mean, I don't like white castling kingside here. He's castling kingside into your attack. It's totally illogical. Any good same-ish King's Indian player would know that white should castle queenside, put the king on b1, and then aim to infiltrate black on the queen side through the c file. So he's castling the wrong way into your kingside, like classical attack. And g4. This is the kind of move that works sometimes in certain variations. This is an actual idea. But I'm skeptical here. In the classical King's Indian, where like white has a bishop on e2, sometimes they can do it. The bishop on e2 sort of holds up that fence there. But it looks like this g4, you could sack a piece like pretty straightforwardly. I would imagine knight f6, h5, sack your knight on g4 to get two connected pass pawns and a really strong... I haven't played through this game yet, but I'm thinking that's very straightforward. Knight f6, h5, sack the knight, and you've got this like monster attack with the two connected pass pawns and the white king totally exposed. He's not set up properly for this g4 type of blockading plan. You just don't do this here. Knight g6, I don't know, you need that. This is the right idea. And now he's just playing into it. He's going to have to take on h5. I mean, after king h2, he's in big trouble. After h5, what's he going to do? If he takes, he's going to have to take on h5. When you have threats of queen d7 here, you can probably force him to play knight g1, for example. This is not 100% clear, though. I think he has to take on h5, but perhaps he can play rook g1. Perhaps this is still, you know, will hold a while, but I mean, how long is he going to hold with his king on h2, actually? No, I think he has to take on h5. Because if he tries to play like rook g1, I think it's just game over. Takes, king f7, and then like rook h8. If he tries to run away, I mean, maybe there's some miraculous way white can survive this type of position. But I mean, it looks like it's lost, honestly. Like check here, g4. These pawns are devastating. I guarantee you, like, the best result white can hope for here is a draw, and that's kind of a miracle. The pawns are just too strong. I will do that sometimes in the Slav, in the a6 Chebanenko Slav. You sack a knight on b5 for their c6 and b5 pawns. Basically the same thing here. I think white is just toast completely. He just never can castle kingside. Never should castle kingside. This won't work. b4 is not going to save you. So now I think, yeah, just like positional piece sacrifice. Knight takes g4 check. His pieces are horribly placed. Like, there's nothing he can do to defend. After this, just like take. He's nowhere near making progress on the queen side, and you're all over him. King f7, rook h8, queen d7. Forget about it. So you did hg4, queen d7. Okay, this is like looking weird. You're telegraphing yourself too much here. You submitted your upset victory from pawn to rapid. Cool. I think there is probably more than one way to skin the cat here. There's more than one way to skin this cat, but I mean, I bet there's like 5 winning moves for black. Probably king f7 is good. Knight takes g4 check. This move is extremely obvious, though. Like, you're putting your queen on a very weird square. You've got that, maybe. But you need to clear your bishop out of the way first. Another strong move is the classic King's Indian, rook f7, bishop f8, and then over here. It's been a while since I played the Mar del Plata with black. I gave it up when I was a teenager, almost. I found it one-dimensional to play those type of positions, but one-dimensional chess. You got a lot of good moves. Queen d7 looks too obvious, you know. Now he stops your sacrifice. Now you're going to be screwed if you can't do this knight sack on g4. But I think here you're good. You still got him with rook h8, and then you got the sack here. And that's the problem with this whole thing. Like, why the classical King's Indian is better than the Samish here. If your bishop is on e2, he can hold up g4, maybe. But the bottom line is now you're going to suck him over to the g file and then sack on g4 anyway. Maybe there's some way he can survive, but he's got to run away now. Exactly. Man, if only your rook, if only your king wasn't here, you would have f3 check immediately. So you got 2 pawns for the piece. These brutal roller pawns. If his king could get over to c2, he would be safe. I mean, how much are these 2 pawns worth? It looks like the best he can do is like sack a piece for one of them to stop the roller from coming through. He tries to run away. Damn. I mean, this is another problem. Well, he just hung a piece, but I mean, what do you want him to play here? I think it's winning for black. Peter is not convinced. Wow. Okay, so the engine thinks it's unclear. Frankly, I would have done it my way. Like Frank Sinatra would say. I think I'd rather have your bishop on h3, Eubatis, and your queen on d7 than your queen on h3 and your bishop on d7. You always go forward with the smaller pieces first. So this is some sort of weird miracle that this move works. f3. He can actually sack a piece back. Queen here, pawn takes knight. But your king is now in a very precarious position. So that would be... And your queen as well. Your queen is almost trapped. So I argue that's what you did wrong here. You were lucky, like bishop h6, queen e1, takes the bishop, game over. But if he plays carefully, you were actually in a precarious position. Instead of queen d7, I'm saying we just sack here right away. Like, at the minimum. Let's see what it says. -3. -4. It's -3. Just sacking on g4 immediately. Queen e7 question mark. Alright, my King's Indian skills are still there. Dinekis just submitted a game. I don't have any guarantees for you guys that I can get to all the games. I got a lot of games. We'll do as many as I can during our allotted 2.5 hours. Waiting for my birthday present from Hikaru to come through. Alright, anyway. What do we got? Vacation. Gift package. One can dream. Seriously, that was our first game with the Eubatis. A little lucky there with Queen d7. WJ Loof was actually our second submission for this week. It shouldn't have been that long ago. Search out for my hate mail. Sorry for accidentally exposing any hate mail. Okay, this is from WJ Blue. WJ Blue. WJ Red. WJ Loof. It's better to be blue than red, though. At least I got the right political party for WJ Loof. I kind of blew the opening and could use some pointers on the Scotch. Alright, let's talk about the Scotch, which I'm not an expert about, but I mean, I understand the basics. You're second this week. Yeah, you're getting faster. What's up, Master V? We'll just call him Master V. That's easy. So, you saw that peace sacrifice I was talking about in the Schieberspieler, in the Abatis game. What I'm talking about in the Slav, just to illustrate, is oftentimes in the Slav we can do the same kind of peace sacrifice, essentially a6, c5, and then later on, whenever later is, white can oftentimes play a future peace sacrifice, like a positional peace sacrifice. So let's say here, e3, I don't know, e6. Eventually black will play like b5 at some point, and we'll do like b4, bishop e7, castle, h6, a4, castles. So what I'm saying is we can basically do the same sort of sacrifice here on the queen side. What I was recommending for Yabatis in that King's Indian, you know, like knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. I've used this a lot in these Chebanenko Slav where white has like two connected pawns. Of course, you have to handle it with care. In the King's Indian, it's more deadly because those pawns are near his king. Anyways, this is WJ Loof's game. Nothing to do with a Slav. So, what to do about the Scotch? Yeah, I'd like some Scotch right now to go with my beer. I'm drinking Larry Christensen style. Knight f3, knight c6, d4. Okay. I have an interesting suggestion. If you want to get out of the beaten path, the underrated g6, which I've been playing, e4, knight d4, g6. There doesn't seem to be any kind of refutation against this, and for some reason it's sort of underrepresented. You get a very solid kingside with the fianchetto. The best I think white can get is like a Marazzi-like position with c4. We were looking at this week. Nice, nice quality. You have some quality whiskey there. Wow. But the reason I'm recommending this g6 is because it seems like the Scotch players aren't well prepared for this. And of course, you're only going to be able to play it if you're comfortable with the kingside fianchetto. Objectively, the variations with bishop c5 and knight f6 are better, I guess. But this was good pedigree. It was played by Steinitz. I had a really nice game against Ruslan this week, where I was black. You can check that out in my history. One of my simul games from last week, I think this was the line. Here, knight f6, bishop c4, castles. He played like queen d2. I played rook e8. It was something along these lines, and like knight a5, and I just blew white away with d5. But this was exactly what Steinitz did. It's like, I don't know, it might even be the exact game that Steinitz played. He played knight a5 and d5 and just cracked the guy's center like an eggshell, and white is just clearly worse. So most people aren't going to know what to do. It's a good line. The worst case scenario is they play c4, and you get what is essentially a kind of King's Indian after bishop g7. But at least you'll have a nice safe kingside with the fianchetto there. But no, seriously, let's take a look at what you played. Bishop c5, knight takes c6, and now, yeah, this is main line, I guess. Queen there. There's these endgame variations. My friend David Vigorito knows more about this than me. But he's an author of opening books. I mean, traditionally, I think that most people play queen f6, right? I mean, this is not even the main move. When I was growing up, everybody always played bishop e3. I mean, that's maybe still considered to be the main line. There's also this, you know, so that's annoying. I mean, you have to worry about this. You have to worry about this, which is totally underrated. Actually, kind of dangerous variation played by Carlsen. It also keeps the pieces on the board, which is one of Carlsen's favorite strategies. If you want to win, don't trade pieces. You know, so you got to worry about 3 different main lines there. If you play g6, it's like they don't even know what they're doing. Against a very advanced player like Schieberspieler, some kind of FIDE master above, they might be able to grind you down with space advantage based on c4, but I mean, that's... Oh, there's a neat variation here too. Knight takes c6, b takes c, and if queen d4, you play queen f6. And white has like no real noticeable advantage. That's not a problem. The other variation is knight f6. You know, this might be a little easier to handle, because if you play knight f6, the 4-knight scotch sucks for white. Like, it's nothing. White has... It's impossible for white to gain an advantage here. So, in a sense, this is better, because you limit white's options. Like, they have to do knight takes c6. So you only have one variation you have to know. If you play bishop c5, you're facing 3. 2, basically, but this is nothing. Like, bishop e4. I think the Scotch 4 knights is just lame for white. I'm pretty sure that most strong players agree. So basically, you're playing the toughest variation to play when you play bishop c5. Knight takes c6, queen f6. Okay, f3. This is the kind of move that someone plays if they don't know theory. Both of these moves are possible here and here. And I recall with this one that white's like trading queens. Trading queens very often. And going for endgames where white has a better structure. That's the idea. D takes c6. But he has to be worried about f2. I don't know the theory well. White's got a good score with knight c3. Only. It looks like knight c3 is slightly unpleasant. Quickly, it looks like this is good. A quick survey will tell you that bishop d4 is good. So that answers that question. That's a very convincing statistical... Some very convincing statistical numbers there. But you do have to be careful in the endgame. White will have 3 pawns against 4 pawns on the queen side, but your pawns are sort of demented. Whereas white has a healthy 4-on-3 majority on the king side, like in exchange for Lopez or something. WJ Loof has the leapfrog for there, but am I getting chat from you guys? Are we still connected? We haven't had any chats in like half an hour. Just want to make sure I'm still connected to the internet. So let me know you're still awake out there. Wake up! Hello. Alright. Schieberspieler is informing me. So, it looks like bishop d4 is good. f3 is a blunder. And you didn't do anything wrong. You did absolutely nothing wrong. The guy played f3, which is a new move. How bad is this? You know, is it that bad? It doesn't seem that bad. He has a serious weakness on this diagonal. That's the main thing. So I would focus very strongly on that. How are you recapturing on c6 here? Has to be huge. You played like the sort of safe pawn structure recapture with the queen, but I think you're going to have a problem. If you got in trouble, it's likely because of your next move. While it's reasonable to play queen takes c6, I find the other two moves to be much more dynamic. If you take with the d pawn, your bishop's open, and your rook can come to the open file. So you've got immediate activity for the pieces. If you take with the other pawn, you've got a chance to hit his center and blow it up with d5. So you play the least of the three moves in terms of, you know, dynamics. And I have an issue here with this d5 square. If white's able to play like knight c3 and knight d5 and just sit on your d5 square, you're going to be worse. So we've got to be very careful. Might even have to consider bishop b4. I hate it though. Your bishop is mighty good on this diagonal, and we really want to keep that diagonal controlled. I have to admit though, I was considering playing this. It looks slow. So I think that the suspect is queen takes c6. Kind of a subtle mistake. The central square d5 is too important, WJ Loof. You have to be willing to think outside the box, and don't be too dogmatic about pawn structure. Queen takes c6, knight c3, and also the other problem is that your queen is stuck outside in front of your pawns. How are you going to play d6 and lose your queen to like bishop b5? Yeah, I mean, I think that now this control of this square looks so clear for white. White's just better. Yeah. I mean, we can look at what the oracle says. I'm predicting the oracle goes for d takes c. Oh, it's so close. So check this out. This is instructive. You see, you can read Stockfish, but you still don't understand. You can subscribe to Stockfish, but that doesn't mean that you're as an amateur player you understand why the computer is evaluating. The computer doesn't understand why it's evaluating. It's basing its analysis on different things. I'm analyzing conceptions. The computer is analyzing concrete variations. And so we're reaching the same conclusion by using different methods. I'm taking shortcuts, and it's just brute force calculating. Now maybe like Leela or these AlphaZero would be different with the artificial intelligence. It will learn and stuff, but I actually thought the computer would like the active increase in the squares that it controls with d takes, but it actually prefers b takes. Now you might put this on Komodo or another engine, and it might have a different opinion because its programming is slightly different. But like you'll see, the queen takes is clearly worse than the others. Game saying I'm lost is never perceived like this by my opponent. This is the square. It's everything in this position. Knight c3, knight f6. I don't like his bishop g5 particularly. This is like a stone cold bluff. I call your bluff. He never wants to give that piece up. I'm not sure where he should go though. Maybe white has subtle moves. I like queen e2. preparing bishop e3. Probably something more straightforward, maybe bishop e5, although this looks a little tricky. You gotta watch that. It's really not a threat. White's gotta watch that, bishop f2. But for example, bishop b5, queen b6, queen e2, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do now? What you gonna do when they come for you? What, I mean, seriously, like, black's screwed here. It's what it is. It's a really good center game. d4 takes, queen takes, knight c6, queen e3. The whole strategy is like maintain the strong pawn on e4. What your opponent got in this game is like the dream position for the center attack. He just kept d5, and slowly you're going to be worse because he has a powerful pawn on e4. That's the thing. When you play against the Scotch, what's happening in the center is really important. You just, guess what? You just sold your central strong point. It's gone. You know, what do you get for it? Some dynamics. You got to be dynamic, especially on the black side here. So let's see what happened. And now, da-da, bishop f6. Now, this. You lost the queen. He missed it. Ooh, that's ugly. Ugly. And putting you out of your misery quickly. So Madarama suggests a6. Exclamation. a6 preventing bishop b5, and maybe we can kick the bishop out with like b5 or b4, but it's all very artificial. I mean, black is clearly worse. And it's all about strategy. White owns e4, has a great structure, strong point on e4. Black is just struggling to even like coordinate. Probably you should try to get yourself back, you know, get your queen back to a sensible position on like e6, if possible. In fact, it's interesting because if you try to do that right away, he has knight b5. So Madramis is on the right track. Probably a6 is a good move. Oh, it was before. Well, you found a good move now, by coincidence. So he wins immediately with bishop e5 and misses it. I'm not in love with the fact that white gave up his dark-squared bishop here. Now he's starting bishop e5 again. And you missed that too. Clink. Awkward. Somewhat awkward problem here with bishop e5. So, game over. He takes your pawn in f6. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I'd be like, thank you. Now we're actually, you know, in business. I would take it. Yeah, you take it. Take it fast. And now here, and look at this beautiful position. All of a sudden, it's an opposite-colored bishop position with queens on the board. Your king is pretty safe. All your pieces are mobilized. And this guy is going to get fried on the dark squares. How did this happen? You're actually threatening mate in 2, starting with bishop f2 check. White has no clue. I mean, let's check this out now. King d7. You're only a pawn down here. But you've got to decide, you know, what you're doing. I don't think that queen e2 is necessarily bad. He has to check on b5. He's castling queenside, Madramis. It's probably okay. I don't know what you want to do. You know, what other suggestion? If he can get there, that's his best plan. Unless you think that black had bishop e3. You might... No, I mean, this is a good move, man. Can you go here? Maybe the white king can walk over here. To the safety of the white squares. But I think now it's black's turn to decide. You know, king d7 looks kind of risky. You could honestly play king f6. But I wouldn't. I would play here. Your rook is stuck. Rossiter, I was being arrogant, you know, joking around. I mean, king f6, okay, it's possible. It's possible, but I would prefer to play more cautiously. This is like, okay, he can trade queens and you have no chances to win. You're probably holding here easily. But if you have any intention of winning, you can't allow this queen exchange. So the best move is bishop e3. That's cold-blooded. Preventing castle's queenside. You got him stuck in the center now. But as I said, I think white's still okay. c3. He's going to walk away with king d1 and just barely survive. I mean, he's very lucky that he's not in trouble. Wonder if king f6 is really a good move. No. Not here. He'll castle queenside. There's no time for king f6 or even king f8. You're slightly worse after this. Anyways. Alright guys, I gotta move on. With king d7, I would just trade queens and try to beat you in an endgame where black should probably hold on. It's gonna be hard to win this endgame, honestly. It's one pawn, black's active. It's a long endgame in prospect here, where white is slightly better, but it's going to be very hard for black to win. So, this was cool. There was a lot to be learned from that. Let's see what happened. Well, this actually happened. Yeah, that's what I think is best. Yeah, you're active enough that you should hold a draw. If you trade the rooks, it's a guaranteed draw. In most cases. Nothing crazy happens. This is a little blunderful. Blunderful. Bishop f5, winning a piece. This wasn't WJ Liu's sharpest game. Or white's, for that matter. Now you got your pawn back, and you're probably better with the active king in the center and a passed pawn. Now we're playing for a win. Yeah, I mean, he definitely doesn't want to weaken his dark squares, but he's trying to just create a blockade. Now he's just lost. I mean, obviously now white has to play rook b1. And you've got a very strong initiative in this position. But this just loses. He's just done. Game over. Can he play rook b1? I have some kind of like ear infection. How can I get an ear infection when I have no contact with people? How does that happen? Alright. You played rook eb8. This is good. Yeah, again, as I'm saying, like, he has to defend. What's up with this? Rook b1. Black's slightly better, but it should still be a draw. Now, your pawns are dynamic. Your king is strong in the center. You're better coordinated. You have threats of c5, c4. But this is like suicide. Still, he could try rook b1. Can there be a survival here? No. He's lost after rook b2 check. He has to trade. I mean, this is a messed up position now. King c1. Maybe there's still a small chance white is hanging on here. Very difficult endgame. Pawn down, better king for black. Two connected passed pawns. This is lost. These pawns win. These pawns just totally win. You have a lot to learn. You'll learn. Takes time. Endgames are tricky. Definitely king d6. You want that king as active as possible. And these pawns are gold. They're like bitcoins, essentially. These pawns are the new gold. The chess equivalent of entire bitcoins. King d6, king c7. You have to be able to play c5. Anyway, he's done. And you win a rook. Alright. A lot to learn from that game. Princess Chess is not here. I didn't see her. Must be hard at work. Or hardly working. Okay, guys, game analysis. I'm going to get to as many of the games as I can. Petrosians, chess lovers, welcome. Coach, Scotch. Yeah, that's a Scotch. Did you guess the opening? Good job if you did. You think this is my third? Oh, 3-3-2. It was 3-2, so that's fast. Alright. What do I got? Princess. There it is. Where was that? 27. Greetings. I dug in an old game for Thursday's stream analysis. It's a long game, but one of my better efforts. As a 1500 versus 2000 player, damn. Entering in, I was more impressed by playing this game than some of my recent efforts. Don't spend too much time on it. Okay. It's a 1500 princess. Playing black. Damn, you did a 32-hour shift? That was an interesting game, man. Thank you for sharing. So it's a Slav. Princess Czech Chess. Princess Czech. If you need a new name, it'll be Princess Czech. Alright. Princess Chess, we got another 1,000 bits from Happy Birthday. When is my mystery birthday? I was telling my dream about how Hikaru gave me a vacation package for my birthday in a game show-like way. In a dream I got last night. Very strange. I just never have any kind of vivid dreams, let alone ones related to chess. It's kind of funny. Alright. Birthday's coming up soon. But, alright, this is Princess Chess playing black in a Slav, semi-Slav. I don't recommend a semi-Slav for 1500 players. It can get very, very sharp. You know? But she's not really playing it. Okay, she does the Cambridge Springs here, which is a strong solution. This is a good idea. Like, don't go into the Botvinnik variation if you're under 1800. I mean, this is extremely, extremely irrational tactical complications coming out of this kind of opening. You don't want to play that until you're an advanced player. I think even sharper than most e4 positions. This is you wouldn't, the old school players wouldn't have called this the closed games if they knew, you know, in the 1900s or 1800s that chess could be so complicated. Alright, so you play knight of bd7. And then the lame bishop e7. Yeah, I mean, the Cambridge Springs is good, I think. Never play queen a5. That's one of my sayings. My saying is actually, it's queen a5 is never good. But this is one of the rare exceptions. I've had a real hard time against the Cambridge Springs, like getting anything for white. I think the only way is like takes, knight takes, queen d2, bishop e4, rook c1, and now white has to really, really dig deep in this line to find some kind of slight edge. Maybe some line where you can sacrifice a pawn for the initiative. I played like traditional games with the knight d2, And I was recently going over Capablanca Alekhine from 1927. They had a number of games in this opening. I mean, both sides were playing the Cambridge Springs. But it's durable. It's totally playable. And a very healthy variation of the Queen's Gambit, I think. But this is much more passive. Generally speaking, if you want to play the Orthodox, you probably, don't want to use this move order, but it's alright. It would be more accurate to not play c6 so early for you. In any case, white should play rook c1 or queen c2. Instead, they played bishop d3. So we have like an old Botvinnik game. Botvinnik actually did this, I think. One of his 100 selected games. But it's inaccurate. Okay, queen c2 is, no, I mean Capablanca played rook c1. Capablanca played also with black a lot in this line. But queen c2 isn't that great. Nothing is a solution, really. I mean, black's solid. I don't know. I don't know how to get an advantage for white. I don't think there is a way to really get an advantage. It's very solid. But this is definitely not it. Trying to remember the Botvinnik game. Well, he was playing white. I don't remember what his opponent did. They got an IQP. This is just bad. So b5. What about c5 here? But I'm wondering about black's move order. I'm actually kind of shocked that white has a positive score here against bishop d3. I guess you should just castle first and then do it next move. Castle, castle. D takes c4, bishop takes c4. Kocha, was there Karpov Korchnoi? I don't know what's wrong with c5. Does white really have an edge here? Computer likes white. You can trade pieces, Capablanca style as well. d4, bishop c4, knight d5. I guess this is fine. Take, take. Now rook c1 would transpose to the main line. That's funny. I was under the impression that black has something better than transposing to Capablanca's freeing maneuver. That's interesting. It looks like a lot of stuff has been tried here. Well, I see most commonly takes b5, bishop d3, and then like, let's say bishop e7 or a6. When I've been white in this position, I've played like queen e2, a6, and then a4. You can't allow black to play c5. That's the whole game. But I'm not really sure what the most accurate is. I don't know about rook c1. That seems to be the main move. a6. And now what are we going to do? a4. This might be Fischer. Fischer-Spassky 92 had a game. Was it Fischer-Spassky 92? Does anyone remember? They had a similar variation. It seems like it's not that bad for black. But surprisingly, bishop d3 is surprisingly better than I thought. The results are actually not bad. Okay, so princess chess takes. You can also play c5, I would guess. That's a tempo down, though. That doesn't really make sense. I guess it's pretty much castles or takes on c4. Queen c7, no. Generally not going to go there because the c file. I guess castle, we can wait one move. Castle, castle. So this is safe transposing. We can also play the b5. Okay, let's see what Princess Chess did here. It's similar to the Capablanca, I'm sorry, Botvinnik game. Castle, castle, knight b6, and then c5. With the knight on b6, yeah, I feel like b3 is more tempting than normal. If your bishop's on d3, though, that also looks like a legitimate move. I prefer d3 in general. Control the e4 square. See, this is a problem for our knights. Don't spend too much time on it, she said. I think the queen is vulnerable on c7. White is just better here. Powerful pawn. Black must play c5. It's just a matter of when, you know. What about c5? We're just a tad slow. D takes c5. Bishop takes c5. Queen e2. And the engine's giving white a big plus. Because our queen side's slow coming out. That's interesting. If we can't play c5, then we're screwed. So this move isn't going to solve all of our problems. You're able to trade one set of pieces. You have no e5, and you have no e5 because your knight's on b6, and you have no c5 very easily. And now you just like duck the problem altogether. White's a strong player. Okay, 2000. I mean, you're going to have to get inventive here. I mean, Steinitz and Lasker did all kinds of crazy stuff, like F's. we might have to end up playing like Bishop D7. That's what Steinitz probably would do. It's ugly. Bishop D7, Rook D8, Bishop E8, and then crawl out with the bishop, like Emanuel Lasker. He literally had games like that against Capablanca. He did something almost identical to this. It's awful for black. But he almost got away with it in this one game. King H8 is possibly connected to that kind of plan, like Rook D8, Bishop D7. This is a weird square for the queen. We wouldn't normally put it there. But maybe here it's relevant. I would think that black is lashing out here without solving their problems. Now going back. No clear plan. Back to the beginning with e5. Knight takes c3 and e5. I think a5 might actually weaken black on the queen side. Now white decides to play e4. We have to exchange pieces. You'd be out of your mind if you did anything else. And then white can't take with the pawn without losing a3. Personally, I don't think white should necessarily play e4. And now black is just sort of hanging on. But the good thing about the fact is that white played e4. You got to trade the knight, and then you can bring a rook here. It looks like maybe rook d8. And this becomes a little bit of a target, like his pawn on d4, because he's pushed e4. Lasker loved defending and holding Sladgie passive positions. Alright. And this move is just beginner move. Ugly. No plan. Weird. This is the 1500 princess. Very bad move. Stymieing your own bishop. This knight can't move. You're a target for knight e5. It's terrible. And back to a normal square. It seems like white's also having trouble coming up with plans. And now black's almost okay. Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting, taking with the pawn. Long-term judgment. White's got a huge bind on the d6 square, and if you can't develop, you're done. This kind of endgame, like take, maybe you could survive with e5. So this is not an easy decision. But I don't like the way that white let you trade pieces there. I mean, queen c5 is like moronic. The first really move I just hate by white. Letting black trade pieces with the space advantage here. Like, this is a totally classic position. Just need to squeeze a little harder. Maybe even f3. We're just going to take white time. But you don't want to trade pieces. This is okay for black, trading pieces. And now white has almost, you know, just drastically reduced advantage. Possibly a4, rook a5. Still white's seemingly better, but I'm not sure. How about f6 now? I'm concerned that he'll come back to c5. We'll weaken our king side, and then we can't play b6. If f6, queen c5, b6, queen c6, we have no time to take this pawn on d4, and we don't have anything. So white's advantage lingers here, even into this endgame. Ugh. I understand you're trying to improve your king, but man, maybe we're already done. We may just be done here. I mean, white's going to just dominate the d file. Now, perhaps, though, okay, we need to look at it a different way. We have ways of getting out, maybe in other ways. Maybe it's not done. But I don't want to put any more pawns on white squares, Princess Chess. You can't afford to put any more pawns on white squares. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I guess we have to try e5. Maybe even right away. Black's got problems with the open file. Really hard to break through, though. And black doesn't have that many weaknesses. Maybe we can play b6 later on to break out with, like, rook b8. Black might just be able to hang on here because they have limited amount of weaknesses. But once white gets an ironclad grip on d6, I feel like now you really should be lost here. And this is probably a further mistake. Maybe fixing our pawn on a white square. Yeah, I mean, clearly white can play bishop c4 now, keeping your rook at bay by controlling this square and this square. So white made a lot of inaccuracies. It's a good try, though, getting active. Totally random, h5. Black's setting up the checkers to make the bishop as bad as possible. I don't mean to pick on her. Alright, bishop e1, rook e7. And then the b pawn is, the a pawn is gone. But you got the b pawn miraculously. And I don't like the way that went down. I mean, now all of a sudden you're tied up, but you did improve your pawn structure, and b6 is going to break out, or b5. I missed your little joke. Squeeze your earlobe? I mean, it's unbelievable that way I messed this up. This is a good move, though. Man. What happened here? Your bishop is lost now? That's funny. It's not really lost. It's just a little bit confused. This is possible. Also rook a2. Rook a2 looks a little more secure. Rook a2, idea rook d2. It looks like you're hanging on. Or you can go for the other door and try to just play with a lot of pawns against the piece. This works. And now you defend. And now your king is coming up. And I think like white is close to losing, but maybe not enough. Yes. 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 Oops. Winning a piece. Not quite. Okay. Let's play rook c4. Rook c4, rook b7, rook c5, and you're 2 pawns up in an ending with excellent chances to win. But you did the crazy f5. Maybe it's not so crazy. Maybe it's good. Not so crazy. Alright, never mind. Here. What? You can just defend. Nice. I thought rook c4 was probably enough. It's going to be a draw. She told me before. You're 2 pawns up in an endgame, but this situation doesn't help. You obviously didn't understand about bad bishops. Putting all your pawns on the wrong color back in those days. If you hadn't fixed the queen side, I mean the king side like that, it probably would be easier for you to make progress. This is going to be an issue, that those pawns are fixed like that. This is not ideal. You have no flexibility with those pawns. It's going to be hard to create another passed pawn. And that's the whole issue now. If you have any trouble winning this game, because your pawns are inflexible on the king side. Yeah, I mean, you probably want to trade rooks here in the bishop endgame. But I'm actually not sure if you're winning. I guess you should be winning, right? You're 2 pawns up. You gotta be winning. You have to trade rooks. Endgame technique. You missed your chance to trade rooks. Unbelievable. You just believed him. Trading bishops might still be holdable. Now he has rook c6 and it's a draw. He found it. How did he find that move? Unbelievable. Where's my beer? Now it's a draw. Just when Coach Ass says it's winning. Yeah, this is just a dead draw now. But this situation on the king side was bad. Okay, game over. Good draw. Yeah, that was ugly. But, you know, we can learn a lot by looking at our old games. I mentioned that earlier last week. Maybe you heard me. But I was saying that I sometimes would look at one of my old games and I just like, I don't know if this is why you submitted this, Princess, but I saw that, you know, mention this. I would look back occasionally at one of my old games and I'd be like horrified at how I played. You know, I was like, what? I played like that? That's unbelievable. Yeah, a lot of mistakes, but I mean, not trading rooks there. For me, it was surprising, honestly. You're like the lower rated player. You're 1500. You're playing a 2000. You're 2 pawns up. And you don't trade rooks? I mean, what do you have to lose here? I guess you thought he was going to trade rooks, but he realized his mistake. But I mean, after rook takes, it's not that easy. But I'm thinking you get your king to a very powerful square here. You're getting your king to e5. You know, this still may not be simple. What if this is a draw? That would be perverse. You know, it's possible this isn't the right plan. Is it possible 2 pawns down bishop endgame can be a draw? I mean, there's one other possibility here to go active on the queen side with like king c5 and burn your bridges behind you. But that's not a draw, right? I mean, we go the other way is fine, isn't it? What's he going to do about the c pawn? So let's say, whatever, he waits, you play bishop e6, he moves away, plays c5, he goes somewhere, you play c4, he plays here. You gotta just time it right. Maybe something like bishop c8. Oops, that's not gonna work. Never mind. This has got to be winning somehow. Even like worst case scenario, he gets really far away. c3, king d3, bishop c4 check. It's just too much, you know. It's not going to be possible for him to draw. Even if you didn't have bishop c4 check in this type of position, like this might be enough. He's so far away. Takes, king takes, king takes. Bishop takes h5. Wait, whose move is it? Oh, it's the wrong color rook pawn. No, wrong color rook pawn. Sorry, buddy. No, everything's winning. I can't believe she didn't trade rooks. Life would be different if you had traded rooks. You would now be like a 2200. Princess Chess. If you gained the confidence from beating that 2000 player, your whole life would have been different. You would have been a millionaire. Hate to break it to you. This game changed your entire life. Just kidding, guys. I'm watching too many Star Trek episodes where Captain Picard could have gone back and changed his life. Whatever. Yeah, that's I'm a loser. What can I do? I watched like Star Trek reruns that I didn't catch when I was in high school or college. Whatever. Alright. Next game is Asterbait. VIP. Damn, dude, you're scary if you know that. Yeah. I'm Nodism knows the Star Trek episodes by heart. Damn, dude. That's pretty scary. I thought I was a loser. Alright. I won't judge you for being a Star Trek fan. Our moderator, Mr. Coffee, also likes Star Trek. Event Phi Kappa. Mr. Coffee knows what I'm talking about. The heart stabbed episode. Yeah. Alright. He could have changed his life. He would have been more brave. Princess Chess would now be a master. Scary stuff to consider. Alright, Asterbait is up next. Guys, welcome to the stream. Dream Analysis stream. Movsesian. I never realized how close Move 11 is to Movsesian. It's a play on words. Alright, anyways. I've got to do Asterbait's game. Where is Asterbait? I'm in. Was wondering if Pawn to Rapid Swiss upset victory would be a fine submission for Thursday commentary. Alright, that's what it is. Fight Night versus Asterbait. All I know is that I have birthday dreams because I'm afraid that nobody's going to give me a birthday present or even remember it's my birthday. This lockdown's making us all paranoid. It's not my birthday today. I think it was Angelica's birthday. You got a P.O. box? I don't know. Like, who's asking? Depends on who's asking. I'm very careful about who I give my P.O. box out to. So, we got... I can't believe I got a cold or something. It can't be COVID. Alright, anyway. I don't have any COVID symptoms. But I started to get like a sore throat. How do you get a sore throat without exposing yourself to bacteria and people? Astrobate, what is this? This is Fight Night versus Astrobate 3-0 chess. D4, knight f6, knight f3, c5. Okay. First question. I mean, I'm not a Benoni player personally, but I wonder if Astrobate should really play this c5. It's not a proper Benoni. How do you know you didn't just expose yourself to bacteria? I mean, I've had almost no exposure to anybody. Like, the only way I could possibly get exposed to something would be like maybe one piece of money that I touched might have. I don't know. I never ever... I'm like super, super careful about not exposing myself to anybody or even like washing my hands after I touch stuff. I'm like really paranoid. Maybe like once I know I always wash my hands. I don't know what it could be or where I could have gotten it. I live in like a glass cage basically. I mean, maybe like somebody I walk by on the street, you know, from like 3 meters away, like left some bacteria in the air after they rode by on a bike or something. I don't know. You know, it's weird. But I don't think it's COVID. I don't have any kind of symptoms. No, you know, no fatigue, no fever, no coughing, just like a throat, sort of throat pain. And my ear, I might have like it might be like basically like a kind of like deep ear infection. Dr. Jim. But I'm not going to bore you guys with my health problems. Just sometimes I think about it, I'm like, how did that happen? I never was such a bubble boy. Alright, so the d4, knight f6, knight f3. I don't know, Astrobate, do you really want to play this? I mean, would it be better for Astrobate to play... Would it be better for Astrobate to play e6? And play the Benoni on move 3? Astrobate? I would give it very serious thought. What's the downside of e6 here? You know, BFD. You have to worry about what? The London system? Lame. The Tory attack, Mr. Coffee? I think you're better off, Astrobate, playing e6 and waiting for white to commit to c4 before you initiate Benoni. Tastelessness? No, I'm good. No, I'm 99% sure it's not COVID. I still just can't believe I can get sick while I'm taking like maximum precautions against COVID and I still get something. It's unbelievable. I had my tonsils out when I was a kid because I would get like throat infections all the time. I didn't even have tonsils to get infected. What are we gonna do? No, I like this better, man. I don't think you should play c4, c5. The flick knife, of course. This is the main reason we avoid that too. But I mean, we don't have to worry about the flick knife here. I mean, the flick knife is like here, here. Knight c3. c5, d5, take, d6, e4. The variation of death. You know, g6, f4, bishop g7, bishop b5 check. This is widely regarded as by a lot of people as the #1 variation for white against the Benoni. But I don't think even this is that completely putting it out of business. If you really know your shit, pardon my French, yeah, maybe not eating enough salads. But I don't think not eating vegetables made me sick. I don't know. I don't get it. But anyways, bishop b5 check. This is the best line. But still, the bigger thing is that I don't think that Astrobate should play c5 here. I mean, this is a serious variation. Knight f3, c5, d5, and white is better now. Yeah, that's a very old game, Jim. That was like in the 90s. I remember when that was being played for the first time. But Bareyev was playing white, right? Where Topalov tries to like kind of semi-sound peace sacrifice. A lot of people... David Norwood wrote a book in the Benoni in the 90s where he like kind of supported that idea of playing knight bd7 and sacrificing a piece in the f4 bishop b5 check Benoni. But I mean, it's all been analyzed to death, like in New in Chess, like articles with 30 plus move, you know, analysis to move 35 of an endgame where you have like 2 pieces against a rook or whatever. It's been way beyond, you know, overdone. So that's analyzed to death. But I don't think that Astrobate should allow this. You know, this isn't the Benoni. This isn't the modern Benoni. This is like an inferior Schmid Benoni. So the best move is supposed to be b5. It's like a reversed Réti. I don't think you should allow this Astrobate. You got to play something else. Even b6. That will forego your chance to play the Benoni, though. So if you want to play the Benoni really bad, play e6 and hope white plays c4 and then plays c5. That would be my recommendation. What's up, DK guy? Nothing wrong with the 90s opening repertoire. It depends on which side you're on. c5, and then white played the devastating e3. No, this is not a problem. e3 is fine. Here you have a lot of options. g6, e6, d5. Even his move c takes d4. Now that's interesting. I never considered playing this. So Astrobate's going to end up on the black side of an exchange Caro-Kann. Belayev is challenging me to blitz, but we're not taking blitz challenges. I'm just analyzing games today. Belayev, if you're around tomorrow, Mr. Balayev, if you're if you're around tomorrow, if I'm still alive, tomorrow morning Friday morning at 11, I'm going to take more blitz challenges, 5-0. I had to decline his challenge for the second time after yesterday. But I don't want Astrobate to play the black side of the Caro-Kann exchange, really. So, there he is, though. That's the best he's got. I think you can play b6, e6, g6, d5. The only good thing is Astrobate didn't play knight c6, because I swear to God, I think he played this before. I swear. I remember. Astrobate, did you play knight c6 before, allowing like d5? I'm almost certain that I've seen this before in one of his like games. Don't do that. Don't make yourself prone to getting attacked by d5. Princess Chess, that's like my mom said. The older I get, the less I know. And that was before we knew she had dementia. It's a bad joke. Alright, but it's true. It's not really a joke. g6, we're going to give it a try. c3, No, okay, this is actually not that bad for Astrobate. The fact that he's not played d5 is going to work to his advantage now. c3, I can't even begin to say how stupid that is. There's no reason to play c3 here. Hey Bob, what's up? Good to see you. How are you doing? Don't forget my birthday's coming up. You always have less time than an opponent in rapid chess. Because you actually think, Newfino. I have the same problem, man. But not just rapid chess, like every game. My opponents see they're allergic to thinking. I like to think. Alright. Bob, you're not really Arsenal, are you? You guys have a lot in common. But I like you better. You have far more upsides than him. See, I would have kicked you out of the stream long ago if you didn't have so many positive things, you know, sides to your personality. But we admit that with Bob, like, the positives kind of balance out the negatives. So we let him hang around. Now, Astrobate's position here is going to benefit from the fact that he can play d6. This is huge. So castle, castle, this is a questionable square. And now we went with the knight again. No. The move is d6. This is a reverse of a setup that I've played a lot with white. You got to hit him with e5 somehow. So the key is d6, and you've got flexibility. This break can hurt very much. I would prefer it if I had an extra tempo with the white pieces. So check it out. It's the Amon-Hambleton London system going down against a Wander Liang. This is the lame London system losers who play this stuff. I guarantee you that was the London system. They gotta stop doing that. Why do the people play the London system? Get a life already. Play something real, you know? But you gotta play d6. Knight c6 is weird. The knight, again, is like prone to getting attacked. If you fianchetto, you're like, knight's in the way. Where is it going from here? Okay, I don't know what that link is. So please do not click on that. Do not trust any random links that have been thrown out on my stream. We'll let Bob do a private investigation and let us know how it turns out. Even if it is Instagram. I still don't appreciate people just throwing links in my stream. Okay, knight c6 is not so bad, though. It's a minor mistake. This is early, but still probably not bad, but you got to play d6. You've got to play d6. Yeah, they're buddies. No. d5 is wrong, dude. d5 is wrong. I mean, I guess rook e8 might be okay. So knight c6, d5, and rook e8. Instead, you should have played d6 here. Now, on castles, the question is what we do next. Those guys play knight c6 anyway. I mean, I'm not convinced that's the only way. But frankly, b6 followed by bishop e7 actually looks like fairly decent, I would say. I play this type of setup all the time. So I'm not convinced knight c6 is the only way to go. But d5, definitely not. You could also not do anything in the center and try to push on the queen side with the minority attack here, if possible. Can we play b5 in some position? So let's see, knight c6. You got to play d6. This is mandatory. Asturbate's d5 is bad. And rook e8 makes no sense if you're going to play d5. You have no chance whatsoever of playing e5 if you play d5. Therefore, there's no logic in playing rook e8. If you want to play d5, just play it. Play it now. And actually, I was looking at something like this recently. Now you've transposed to a classic g6 line, and on knight d2 we could get a Gadakamsky-like thing. You've got to be careful about bishop f5 if white has g4. So check this out. Bishop f5, g takes f, and I guess g4. This looks really kind of dangerous. I saw an example where Kamsky did this in a similar position. He's the big London system expert. Because the shadow of the h7 pawn is so scary, and the g-file. The rule is don't play bishop f5 until they've castled. Well, they can't like rip you open with that. Here's Tari versus Pragnananda, the hardest name in the world to pronounce. But I like g4. Was there some problem here with this? No, they just didn't have the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Do I have time for a 5-minute analysis more? We'll see, DK guy. Suad Adalik says experience counts. I think knowledge is power. Experience is knowledge, and knowledge counts. So we agree. Dude, g4 is an extremely strong move. So anyway, Asturbate goes off on this tangent with like rook e8, d5. Now this move is irrelevant to your position. Alright, I'm going to turn off the engine now. I don't see what rook e8 contributes to our position in any way, shape, or form. Knight h5, okay. And he just randomly goes e5. Well, okay, at least you're consistent. You did something consistent. Takes, takes, takes. The problem is here that you've traded quite a few pieces, and this IQP position isn't really ideal after exchanging pieces. You've kind of helped white in trading those pieces in a technical position. Amazingly, Asturbate's game is still a book, 2011 battle of between 2300s. That's messed up. So it's like Fight Night versus Asturbate, 1800 versus 1600. They're playing exactly like an average of 2300 players played over the board 9 years ago. Same exact game. Rook e1 looks logical, but Knight f3 is better because he gets this solid control of d4, driving the rook back, and white is slightly better. He could have played this move for free, and then maybe played rook e1. He did this. This is also interesting. But I think even here, to get the bishop back to f1. In other words, in the event of something like this, this, it feels like white is slightly better. Maybe it's still not that much. Alright, Asturbate. If you're going to get an IQP position, don't trade too many pieces. That's the basic idea. You don't want to end up in an endgame with that structure. Though even that might not be enough to win. I had the game with Sunday. In my simul, every week I give a simul on Sundays for 25 players. Amiiboid had a game just like this. He held the endgame even with the bad structure. Coach Ah saw that game. I was better though, if I had played more accurately. So they got something very similar here. The question is, Asturbate, are you attacking with enough pieces left on the board to do any damage? So white just blunders his h-pawn now. It looks like king h2. After king h2, White has the better structure, claiming like a slight edge. But he just drops it. You could also just simply like play knight takes check. His white square weaknesses are massive. So if he gives up this white square bishop, here, take, take, he's got to be really careful about the white squares around his king getting mated or something like that. Who here doesn't know there's Sunday Simul? We don't know, Bob. One of my guest viewers. Bishop takes h3. This was a strong move by him. Queen e3, I thought. Reminds me of Princess Chess game. Not trading queens. Not trading pieces. No, he's probably right to do this. He's down a pawn in this endgame, although honestly, like, that structure is so bad with the isolated pawn on d5. Plus his king is unsafe. I think that white has reasonable chances to hold here. You don't really want a knight endgame. You'd rather like a rook endgame. So let's see the game. Knight h3 here. A very strange passive retreating move from Asterbate. But he had to make way for his knight to escape. Okay. And if f4... Interesting stuff, man. If f4, your knight is still corralled. At the OK corral there. Could get kind of dicey with a knight trapped on... I mean, I hate that. That happened to me back in August, where I lost the game with my knight on h6. You're gonna troll me like that? DK guy, really? That just hurts. You're gonna purposely troll me. DK guy playing for the Chessborn community. We used to like you. Queen d8, king g2, knight g5, the knight's out, rook e1. Asterbate is thrashing. He's a thresher fish. Thrashing with threats. But this is an endgame. I don't know that thrashing with threats is going to really be effective here. I like knight e6. You may have other moves. Queen d7, threatening queen h3. Not sure that's actually a threat. But I don't like his penetration here on e7. So knight e6 kind of shuts him down. Another thing you might consider is pushing, because you can trade that weak pawn off. Yeah, the Prep versus DK Guy stream. How to beat DK Guy. I was thinking of doing analysis on his C5 Caro-Kann advanced variation. We're gonna give like Morales a special class on that. Who? Alright, that's stupid. Knight b3. Staying active. This is a lot of weaknesses. I won't respond. I don't negotiate with terrorists, DK guy. I'm like the X-Files. F3. Bomb throwing terrorists don't get negotiations or counter offers. Knight d6, queen d3 here. This is great. Instead of trading off his weak pawn by playing d4, Asterbate's gonna like exchange it for the one on b2. I'd like to upgrade my isolated pawn for the one on b2. Great trade. Then the guy had this problem though. Balkush is streaming. check out the Balkush. Maybe he'll raid us. Asterbait was after this pawn initially, but now this will be good. Check. Win the exchange. Actually, a really quality game by Asterbait. If you consider the time control, you have to almost feel like, except for the hiccup in the opening where he played the awkward rook e8, he basically played like a 2,000 plus game here. Very clean. And we're seeing Asterbait grind people down in the endgame with his technique now. That was cool, the way he took away the A pawn. Not really conventional. I asked Asterbait today, have you ever queened a pawn? This is kind of crazy. Have you guys ever seen him actually promote? Because he's played like thousands of games on lichess without ever like promoting. You know, he's won like 2,766 games on lichess without ever actually promoting a queen. It's kind of a crazy statistic. Anyway, good game, man. Cold-blooded rook takes e5. It works every time. The king and pawn game is always a win. Pawn takes g5, king g2. Keep it simple. King and pawn games are beautiful. No chance of a knight fork in a king and pawn game, Asterbait. Keep it complicated and you might blunder a stalemate. I like the way he dominated the guy's knight, though. Check it out. And now f6. Goodbye. That's actually kind of cute. You took out the a-pawn and now you dominated the knight. Princess Chess, yeah, sign up for the team on Sunday, 3 p.m. I don't know, Asterbait's developing like endgame skills and a grinding style. So I don't know what's happening around here. Move 11 is up. Can't read my own writing. Got D-Neckis. Thought I was writing DK guy, but I stopped for some reason. Guys, I just want to mention that Morales and I have played 297 games, so pretty soon we're going to have the 300th game. And speaking of making someone a VIP, whew, what's up with me? I thought like Morales deserves to be a VIP for the first player to get to 300 games. I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing that we've played that many games. So, I can't give away vacation packages. No, Bob, no. No, he's not. He's there in the Bob cemetery of people who used to come to my stream, but left because of Bob. The Bob graveyard of former fans of my stream. There's so many of them. And they come back and they're like zombies at best if they try to come back. Alright, move 11. It's already 8:30. The emotional uplift? No, great game. I got move 11. Alright, we're here. I'm sorry. This was the final game Marshall Online Tournament. So, move 11 won the Marshall Chess Club Online Tournament this week, guys. Congratulations to him. This is his official, like, online rating, I guess. I don't know. 2009. He's actually stronger than that in real ratings. But I don't know what exactly compromises a U.S. Chess Federation online rating. So C4, E5. I had some games with him where I played the English in C4, E5. The arena back, chance to play me 5 times in the same tourney. We should do an arena sometime to mix it up. Yeah, I mean, we can do an arena. I'm too much of a dogmatic creature of habit. We should definitely mix in an arena here and there. G3, D5, CD5, Knight D5, Bishop G2. So, what's up with Bishop E6 here? The Caruana? Is there any reason we can't do the Caruana defense against everybody? That's not this position though, right? Yeah, I'm thinking of a different line. You can't do that here. I'm trying to reinvent the entire black side of the reverse Sicilian, basically. This is main line. You know what I was thinking though? Like Korchnoi had crazy games where he played with black like a maniacal wild man and tried to like do like G5. Emery Tate tried to imitate. Is imitate a word? Emery Tate tried to imitate Korchnoi with like G5 and attack like a maniac. I mean, I lost some games with that when I was black in the Classical Dragon. There's a famous game, Botvinnik, Alyukin. In Botvinnik's, another game I talked about today, that's the second game from Botvinnik's 100 selected games, where he drew with the world champion, former world champion. And that's amazing though, you know, how the different generations played each other. But the young Botvinnik. Yeah, it's a little crazy though with black to try to do G5. With white, it's one thing. Alright, so your opponent played exactly like I did previously. This is the theoretical move. But I'm reluctant to play this because it's a theoretical move. That's why I don't play A3, because everybody who plays English plays this A3. Like it's some miracle or something. So I've been sticking with the main stuff. This is also, I thought this was also a move, like E3. I saw last month, Grandmaster Keith Arkle, or 2 months ago now, has it been? In October, he was here, and he was playing the English in all his games. I think he was playing E3. But E3 is kind of a cool idea. I think that's something that if you worked it out, maybe black's not as well prepared. You know, it's an idea from the dragon with black, colors reversed. So this is the old school move, castles, and now A3 transposes to A3, Bishop E6, so I mean, I haven't looked at this in years. Like, there's a really good series on the English by Grandmaster Bagirov, but it's basically really dated. I mean, it's 20 years old, Bagirov series. So I'm sure there's more up to date, but it was such a huge series. I mean, A5, Knight D4, and then you can't take this pawn because it's dangerous. Bishop F6. There's a lot of theory here that I just don't even touch because I don't feel like, you know, memorizing 30 moves deep. So that's like a main variation. But move 11 just played A6, so he's like avoiding the critical theory by playing something kind of safe with A6 now. Okay. You don't know it that well. It's a safe move. It's solid. He's playing like Nefedov. Essentially would play with white, always A3. But it's not so bad. It looks like white should be able to get something going here, though. Bishop e2. The problem with white, though, is like your knight is in the way. This happens every time we play this opening. Is it going to go here? Is it going to go to a4? But I think the thing about a5 is the key is that you're playing against white's pawns. White has some weaknesses. The b3 square. So this has got to be the main line for a reason. You know, this is definitely. Speaking of New in Chess Yearbook again, there is extensive analysis on these lines. I guess here you're just playing a little passively. White should have a slight edge. Bishop e2, and now f5. So this pawn isn't that solidly protected. When I look at the position, that's what's bothering me. We want to get in bishop f6, but do we have time to play the Sicilian with white? Same way we would play with colors reversed. Don't know. I had a very similar training game with move 11 at one point. But honestly, if I were white here, you have to watch like knight a4, but then e4. This is a classic trap, like takes, and you drop your knight on a4. So if e4, white has to drop back with something like knight e1. But that's an interesting thought, actually. Thought police. I'm concerned about this pawn. There's also other stuff. I mean, the knight interferes with the protection of the rook. So knight a4, queen a4, bishop f6, take, and now your rook is hanging. There are threats of knight d4. I mean, this is bad for white. He's got problem here. Maybe knight c2. I don't know. Anybody see the win for black? There's a small problem with knight c2. If it wasn't for that, it would probably be alright, but we're going to lose a queen. Anyway, I'm just showing some typical variations, what might happen. We have to be aware of that e4 push, tactically, when we play knight a4. So knight a4 is not the move. So, I always feel like knight d2 is passive. Pulling my knight back. Michael Steen here, by the way. He was a very strong player and also an expert with white in the English. He even has like a variation named after him. Queen f5 variation of the e3 four knights English is called the Steen variation. I wonder if he's still alive. He basically quit chess in the 80s. Probably the British chess players would know better. Well, at least the modern ones. I mean, the contemporary ones. So here, queen c2. But it looks like rook c1 is universal. Rook c1, bishop f6, and then where's our advantage? Honestly, that's why I played knight a4 in similar games. But I'm not playing this stuff. I'm not playing b4. I don't know. Move 11 picks a kind of rare line, and then doesn't look like white has anything special. Rook c1, bishop f6, knight a4. What do you do? Knight a4 here? The same thing, right? e4. There's additional tension. I always like want to do an exchange sack on c6, but it's too late for that now. There's no pawn to take on e5. I mean, if we could play knight a4 and black does a stupid move like here, just like shear this off, takes, and takes. This is the basic idea. White does some sort of devastating exchange sacrifice. Everything is barreling down on c6. We sack an exchange for a pawn, get a great game, get the e5 pawn. We're just not in time to pull it off. This move is obviously creepy, queen c2, but maybe it's not that bad. He gets his queen off the line, and then that means that none of these e4 tactics work anymore. is a valuable tempo. It also blocks. Excuse me. It blocks the rook. So there's no exchange sacrifices, which is my favorite idea here. So that's why no one ever played that move. So move 11 is sticking with his plan. This is a creepy move, a classical Dutch style maneuver. But obviously, like bishop f6 is safest, securing e5. Wow, wow, that's crazy, man. This guy's thinking too much. Queen c2 followed by knight b1. He's like Richard Reti. Alright, he's playing the Breyer variation of the Lopez now. Okay, it's not so stupid. He recirculated. But I wonder if you have anything better. No. I mean, there's always like caveman stuff, but I don't think that's called for. I mean, if his knight were to get chased, though, like, where would it go? It would have to go back here, which is pretty sad. So, I mean, this is something I would consider in a blitz game. You've got to consider it. Another plan that's common is like rook f7. Though I don't know that that works with queen e8. Probably not. You know, if you want to do rook f7, we should play this first. Knight b1, rook f7, knight d2, and something like rook d7, where the rook attacks down the d line. I remember Leonid Shampovich, you know, doing an article in Chess Life where he talked about this type of maneuver with white, but I'm not sure it's that big a deal. Another plan anyway. So you did queen e8 here. Yeah, I mean, for me, queen f7 is kind of weird. You know, I didn't play queen e8, so I would play queen f7. I mean, obviously, we want the queen to go whole hog to h5. Also, rook d8 looks like an awfully good square. Is there any objections to rook e8? To me, that looks pretty nice. Very nice. Donald Trump. It feels very hesitant to play queen f7, like blocking your rook with your queen. You're putting your queen in front of your rook. That's weird. It's weird, man. g5, the risky pawn push, or rook d8. Just occupado the d file here. There you go. And then he's like, what? Wow. Alright, so what happens if you combine on him with e4 now? Move 11 is like 3,000 in tactics. I think he's higher than me. My tactics record is like 2,700. But what is your max, move 11? Like, you're probably higher. Now I'm down to 2,300 on tactics. Chess, like, lichess was like hammering me with these like stupid puzzles where it's like guess the computer move. But he's very good in tactics. I have the feeling that the bishop not being protected here, the night before Christmas, and e4, and I see all that, and it's adding up to some variation where white might like lose a piece or something. So he unleashes e4 on white. And the point is, like, bishop takes f6, pawn takes f3, right? I don't think that's gonna cut it for white. You know, so we're basically looking at this, but if we do this, he has this, and now our knight's hanging, and there's nothing special, I guess. Well, actually, I mean, you have to look here, 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 here. It's not clear exactly what's happening. So I think move 11 has something going on tactically. A4 is like a cringy... Oops, I blundered. Because he didn't combine tactics with E4. This poor guy, he's like a 1700. He's about to get wailed on by the 3000 tactics. D takes E4, knight takes B4. And uh-oh, I can't take on C7 because of the bishop on B2. So that's a problem. I mean, I'll turn on the engine, but I'm sure. Queen C7 is not on. Okay, so he finds this. And now move 11 is created a very imbalanced situation. Check the pawn dynamics. You've got 3 on the queen side against 1, and then white has 5 against 3 on the other side. So you created a really chaotic situation with pawn imbalance. Obviously, our knight on b4 is unprotected. And ultimately, like, this pawn may be hanging. What about knight takes a4, e5? This is chaos, by the way. I'm unsure about that. So move 11 didn't like any of that. He wasn't down with e5. He plays this. Okay, I guess that looks right. You can't allow e5. So he takes, white takes, and then he takes on b2. Here I guess you have to consider it, but I mean this looks ugly too, like knight f6 check, pawn takes. These helicopters over here. Wow, we have to consider this. I'm a little bit unsure if it's really worth a pawn or not. This may be possible, but... And at the end of the day, I mean, there's this... Excuse me, the c-file. The weakness of our king side. So I agree with not doing that. So the smoke cleared. At the end, the smoke clears. White's king is completely 100% safe. We've got total chaos in the pawn imbalance. It's possible the black's king could be a little vulnerable, but this is nice. Like, you've got excellent control of that diagonal. The knight is locked in on b4. Knight g5 is not a big deal. c7 is protected. So it's like, what can white do? Material balance, but a4 is hanging. What's he gonna do? Like, play queen a3 or something? This is ridiculous, man. His queen is almost trapped. Wow, crazy game. So now knight e5, white ups the ante. This is a really insane move. So you could theoretically play knight takes a4, right? Knight takes a4, anyone? No. Knight a4, knight f7, knight b2, knight d8. Alright, so we have to move the queen. And I guess f4 is coming, I would guess. The guy's got to secure his, like, e5 knight. This is massive. It's a huge monster. Wouldn't you play f4 here? He was worried about his a4 pawn. So instead it's the other knight goes into this square. Crazy game, man. Wow. So white is up to the challenge, even though he's 1706. This is wild. The solid move c6. And now it's up to white. Now what do you do? If it was a blitz game, I would probably play f4. If I don't see any sort of tactical problem. It gets your kingside moving. You know, he's securing his knight. Doesn't seem to be any kind of special tactic for black. You like this position for white? Oh, I think it's unclear. I don't really know that white is better, honestly. I'm not sure. I mean, even we can play bishop d5, though e4 is coming. Maybe not. So I like f4. He plays what? He starts to play for an exchange here. I would say it's a weird move, right? What the heck? Heck. I mean, wow. So a4 is hanging, but then he has a trick with queen a3? Seriously? Holy God, Batman. Knight takes here. Queen a3. Pinning you? And all your pieces are hanging? Are you serious? Random 1700? Playing for first place? Wow. So it's almost like he was setting you a trap there. Bishop d5. You walk right into e4. And then he takes. Your knight is hanging. You go there. This is all very precarious. And again, the smoke starts to clear for the second time with bishop f7. But it's a huge battle of like whose pawns are faster now. I mean, we're coming with b5, you're coming with this. And then the guy comes up with knight b2. And he's the one that he's been very combative the whole time, playing for complications. Is f4 a thing? I don't know what the times were here. Black's queenside majority is starting to look really juicy. I mean, it seems like we're really close to getting through there. But white will never ever do this exchange to give black clear two connectors. He would rather die than allow that. One pass pawn is one thing, or two. Two connectors like that is a disaster, so I just let him push or whatever. But white instead plays this cowardly move. And now move 11 can find nothing better than to exchange. And we've got an endgame. I don't know, is there anything better you could do? You could have played b5, dude. What? You could have played b5. What do you think, Move 11? Me on Twitch. Guys, why not b5? I mean, we're mobilizing our queen side. And if he takes, we're hitting his rook. Objectively, it's probably equal, but I mean, shouldn't we get it moving? Now, this will be hanging later on, but we have time. We should have time to defend it. Minimum is queen b4. I mean, I don't know. This could get really scary for white with outside pawns. So this seems a little like a concession. You play knight b2, and now you need a good move. Bang. Rook b1. Move 11 with the cold-blooded bishop b3. Not allowing any trades there. So we're keeping all three pawns. This is a cool game. Your king is not really paying the price for the open diagonal and less protection. And now you have what appears to be, at the very least, this pusher. c5, c4. How about e5 now for white? What if he's dropping a queen? So he's got to move his queen. And you're just taking a4. Oh my god. So he plays queen c7. It's a good find. And you just took the pawn. Yeah, but I mean, is this even good? This is a disaster. I'd rather keep my pawns together. Is there any way you can continue here without giving him that? Like, what about c5? If c5, e5, things are just totally chaos. White also has a strong pass pawn now. And b7's hanging. So 11 just decides to take the pawn, give him that one, and then play queen b5. And this is very strong. White has a blockaded a1 though, so I don't think this game is over yet. Even though black has scary looking pawns, they're not connected. It's not getting through a3 even. I feel like white is okay here. But it's definitely time, related. If white struggles. He played really well. This move controlling this. The queen is controlling f2. He's holding up both passed pawns. Man, that's brutal. Brutal, and now you're threatening that. So, and if he plays f4, game over. That's devastating. Check this out. What's your next move? Instant loss. Devastating. He cannot move his f-pawn. And you're threatening rook takes f2. So what's he going to do now? Like, maybe... I don't know what to suggest. e4. If f4, queen e4 is still not a knockout blow, though. Couldn't he play f4 now? Oh my god, look at the power of the centralization. f4, queen e4, and then we're going to play bishop d5. So you missed something with bishop c4? He had bishop c4 check. Well, what if you take it? I mean, is it a big deal? How big a deal is this? Takes? He has to take. And you take here. He, or maybe you have to do it that way. What's up with this endgame? Because I'm not liking this for white. Two passed pawns and stuff's hanging everywhere. And the king is exposed. I guess, though, brute force calculation, maybe there's nothing there. It still looks kind of awkward for white. I would be scared of this. So move 11 didn't do that. He played king h8. White takes. How do we benefit from this, though? How are we benefiting? I mean, shouldn't we take and take on f2? Let's see what the oracle says. Yeah. But not take on f2. Yeah, it likes it. It's my line. It's the best. Take and take on f2. You have to take and take on f2. And I don't know what's happening, but it can't be bad. Like, we're at least okay here. Now his king is pretty open. I guess we don't really have a threat. That's the problem. He doesn't have to take the two rooks. Like, white can make another move. Queen a4 or something. But I mean, there could be something devastating hidden in this position, like queen f6, threatening rook f1. It looks like white's hanging on, though. You never know. With a black coordination, there might be something there, but it looks like it's probably petering out to a draw. So we're down a pawn in an endgame. We can take on f2. But now we can't take on f2. No, you still can take on f2 because there's no mate. The rooks can square, you know, the square is controlled by the queen. But at this point, I mean, it looks like white's no longer worse. So he tries this. I mean, white's up a pawn in the endgame. Rook f1 if we have to. That's what I would play in a time scramble. White played this. Oh man. And you won this game? What? What? I don't understand. You cut off his king. That's kind of cool. He can play e5. I mean, you should just play e5 and offer a draw. Maybe. He's still better there, though. I mean, it's a draw. Oh my god. So he let you into the king and pawn endgame. He had a position with no losing chances. And he lets you go into this king and pawn game with the further outside c pawn. Jesus. What a disaster, man. This is insane if you win here. I guess, I don't know. I guess he's lost. Is he lost? How about e4? I don't know. What do we do? King c4? e4. I guess e4. He's lost. So he's lost in all variations. Damn. Is there any way to save this for white? You could play d7. I mean, for whatever that's worth. It's just... still lost. Just going up. That's so sick, man. You played like a 1700 who was a tactical genius, but he didn't know like a basic king and pawning game. It's so typical. Wow. That was a really exciting game. Really back and forth. Nice job, man. Alright guys, I gotta go soon, so it's... time is up here. But we'll keep going for 20 minutes. NM Sloan. Beyond the... I go beyond the limit for you guys. Let's get some appreciation out there. Hikaru's got 16,000. Tell him I want my birthday present. I want my vacation package from the dream last night. Alright. NM Sloan. Good game, move 11. For those of you who joined us late, I had a dream last night where Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura came to my birthday party and presented me with a vacation package for my birthday, which I thought was very generous. There was like choices in the dream. There was choices. I could do like poker tournaments or sports vacation package or something else. It wasn't clear. It wasn't clear what country Mad Ramus exactly like the vacation packages were for. It was more like themes, you know, poker, sports. I don't know. It was weird. All right, NM Sloan. This is a game to analyze for the stream today. Guys, don't forget, Sunday we got our streamer battle. I'll be back for Blitz tomorrow morning. Simul on Sunday. No, I would definitely do a poker package if I get one. I sort of jonesing for playing like serious poker tournaments. I haven't played like the last time I played in a serious poker tournament was in like European Poker Tour 2016. So it's been like 4 years since I've played in a real poker tournament. That would be my choice. All right, NM Sloan. Playing here with white. Let's take a look. Knight of 3, c5, c4, knight c6. The early e5. You see, I don't really like playing the white side of... It's just me. But the Botvinnik system, man, it's like impossible for white to get an advantage. Okay, like you can't get an advantage with English in general. But I would, you know, I don't even play this anymore. I always play knight c3 here to avoid that. It's just so annoying, man. I won't even touch it. And if black plays like knight f6, that's different. You know, he no longer can do a Botvinnik. If they play e5 here, you have the Vachier, Aronian style stuff. Cruise ship chess. That's an option, man. That's an option. Alright. So, g3, e5. Yeah, this is recommended by a lot of people. It's tough. There was this guy, Rui Gao. The last time that I played and allowed somebody to play the stupid Botvinnik system against me was this draw I had with this future Chinese Grandmaster in Kecskemét. It was like 2007 Kecskemét IM tournament where Rui Gao was 2300 and he was beating everyone except for me on his way to becoming a GM. And we had a tough game, and this is, I swear to God, the last time I allowed this. It's just so easy for black to play. I never want to do this anymore. So knight c3, knight f6, that's completely wrong. I mean, so the whole point is to do g6, bishop g7, knight e7, and then hasta la vista, standard stuff. So luckily for Slom, black plays knight f6, which is, it's a move, but I don't think it's as solid as that knight e7, g6 stuff. I would be very happy to see that. And now you play d3. I wouldn't play d3. I mean, this is normal. Bishop g2. Hope that black blunders with c5, takes, and like knight takes e5. You give them a chance to blunder a pawn, normally. d3, d6. This is some kind of weird, by the way, I should mention that, what's that English guy who's an IM, who does videos on chess base? Lawrence Trent. Lawrence Trent recommends some sort of weird stuff like this with like bishop e7 or... No, that's different. That's with like f5. No, I'm thinking of Lawrence Trent. This weird stuff, man, like bishop e7. Okay, whatever, you know. That's just weird, but it's not great for black. No, I think the Trent's thing was different. It was like with f5 or something. But this is surprisingly annoying. Like, I've had a whole bunch of people do this. Yeah, it's not that easy to get an advantage here. You would think like that would be inferior for black. They'll end up like doing like bishop e6, queen e7, and even like bishop d8 sometimes. The bishop goes back to d8. It's surprisingly resilient for black. So now Slom played knight e1. I'm trying to think what I would do here. Well, one thing is definitely like b4. If you do a3 and b4, you know. But it's not easy to do anything special. If you play a3, I guess he can play something solid. Try to do b4 as a pawn sacrifice even, maybe. Though it wouldn't be as good here. If his bishop's on g7, we can play b4 as a pawn sack, because this diagonal is weak. But I guess we don't have anything special there. Yeah, I mean, knight e1 seems a little passive. It's not terrible. What's the best move for white here? a3. Knight e1's not bad. You're bearing down on d5. White has good control of d5. Sloan is national master. Night, guys. Take care. Antonio. We'll see you for the last 3 games of our 300 series soon. Antonio's up to 297 games now. This is kind of weird, putting the bishop on d7, but he wants to avoid knight d5, knight d5, pawn d5. Pawn defied. Now this is just totally unexpected. Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate to have to play a4. Seems like a reasonable move. You can play this position in different ways. I mean, I assume knight c2 is the best. But it's not the only move here, you know. You might time your move order differently. There's also bishop g5. This is not absurd. Did you seriously ever consider giving this bishop up? I would never trade it. You know, like black goes somewhere, I'm not going to trade it. I would bring it back. I guess this doesn't really benefit us, though. Yeah, stupid. Alright, never mind. Here. And black just basically equalizes like magic. That is a bit weird, though. I mean, here maybe you could be more patient somehow. What if you played a5? Giving up the bishop is not a problem, Mad Remus. Right. I mean, this is a bad bishop. We don't really care about that. It's still a bishop, though. But if Sloan plays a5, I mean, is he worried he's going to lose the pawn? Because I think we have a trick here. Knight d5, knight d5, knight d5, and he can't take on a5 because we take on e7. And we have time to play bishop d2 and defend the pawn. So it looks like white's slightly better if you get this line in. It's not much, but it's something, you know. I think a5 is interesting. It's the best move. The more beer I drink, the better I analyze. A lot of players are famed for their beer drinking blitz play, but I'm actually a stronger analyst when I get drunk. Knight d5. Yeah, you let him play b5, and he's liquidating a lot now. But this is weird for me, this position. Okay, e3. E3 is not my first question. My first question is, what about like invading on the 7th rank? Is this not a thing? Like take, rook a7? Not a big deal, right? But I don't know. I mean, for example, I mean, is this a problem? We don't really like him taking toward the center on us. On the other hand, I'm not sure how bad it is. A5 was a key improvement. But I think here it's like an auto capture. You can't possibly go wrong by taking on b5, right? Okay, he plays e3 first. Now I'm taking on b5 to open my a file normally. He doesn't do it though. I mean, for me that's weird. Like, why would you not want to open the a file for your rook? We played knight d5, but how can it not be beneficial to play this move? I don't understand. It has to be beneficial for you. No, black can play b4, maybe lock it up. I'm not sure I like that. It's possible you still have an advantage despite that, but I just can't imagine not playing a takes b. Now he actually takes on a4, which looks kind of risky. I think black should seriously consider closing it up or taking towards c4, which is double-edged, because like this becomes an issue. This was a materialistic move by your opponent. This was not, you know, that's very short-minded. You could simply come back and pick it up, and that's what you did, while avoiding exchanges. You know, this exchange was bad. Takes. So now it's just structure, slight improvement. Weak pawn. Is it enough to win? Maybe not, but we can try. Yeah, knight d5 feels like a recent move I saw from someone else. That's like, I don't know what to do, so I just throw it out there. We all do that. I have the feeling you have better. Let's see what the oracle says. I mean, the computer is really good at finding these like squeezy, patient moves. Like here we have to really learn from Stockfish. How can you play and just kind of, you know, squeeze a little more out of the position? Looks like bishop d2, but it's very, very nominal. Knight d5. I'm afraid you don't have enough here. I mean, this is basically a draw. Actually, it is a draw. Bishop c8. I don't think that white has much. You can try. You should try, I guess. But I'm very turned off now. This was an aggressive move. Black should probably chill and play like f6 here. How about that move? Just kind of stay solid. Spassky style. I like f6, man. Maybe now you can change gears and go like e4. Black has c4 check. So I'm kind of going faster because we're running out of time, but I'm not really certain what's happening around here. It feels like a game I've played like a million times myself, where I'm trying to make something out of nothing, and black's okay. That is a nice little patient waiting move. We just don't have enough. Time will obviously like decide this game. If anybody's in time pressure, they're likely to make some sort of blunder. Rook takes is correct. And this is a strong move. So Slom managed to find a way, you know, to create serious problems. So I guess we have to look back upon previous play. This threat of playing d4. This hinges, a lot hinges on this. This rook e7 is nothing. So what does black do? What if we play it differently? What if we play here, like bishop g7? Is it really going to make a difference? Let's see. So here, 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 here. And then you stole the C file. It's not enough even so. Black actually played this game really well. I'm assuming he was like the underdog rating-wise. What did we have? He is 100 points lower. He defended really well. These strong pawns. White is a little overextended. You gotta be careful. Wow. There's a back rank. You gotta watch that. That's probably a draw. It should be a draw, I guess. Nobody's winning here. Nobody should win here. But like move 11's game, we could see like a winning king and pawning game. White resigned. So you coordinated. But I don't think that white is... I mean, he coordinated, but I don't think white is... White should lose this position. I thought it's a draw. Even here, you know. Maybe it's tougher than I thought, though. You can't play queen c7 because of rookie 1 check. If you trade the queens, it's a dead draw, probably. How bad is this? Oh, it's getting bad already. I don't know, where did we lose the initiative here? You tried really hard to win, but I guess this is the key point, you know. I thought this was good too. But why not take with the queen, actually? I mean, isn't this... Come on, you just take with the queen. White probably stands slightly better here. Nah. Pawn takes is a blunder. The queen is extremely strong on d4. There's no way you're losing here. White just basically kind of overpressed. This was too optimistic, you know. This is solid. You're completely fine. But black did play a very solid game. I think this should be a draw. Alright, like last games. DNECUS and DK guy, the Ds. Really quick 5-minute analysis of these last 2 games, guys. I've got a challenge from Catman. We'll see about that, but DNECUS. I'm gonna take a quick look at this. Wow, it's a Papua Nui simultan in Greece in, wow, last year against Papua Nui. So this is Dimitri playing black and is simultaneous against Grandmaster Papua Nui from Greece. We'll take a quick look. Dimitri always plays the King's Indian. This is a subtle move order. Bishop e2 to try to play the Averbach. Averbach's tough. I don't know. I mean, John Fedorovich is the one person I know who's like an expert on the King's Indian. And I think he also played, like you, some kind of knight on bd7. The simplest thing to do is to go into the Benoni, you know. I mean, that's like the standard. I played this against Palatnik, h6, but that line is kind of dubious. No, actually, I think knight a6, man. That's what Fed played. I'm wrong, you know. I think it's knight a6. You do knight a6 and e5. Probably that's the best way. But I never learned that line. I can play h6, c5, or c5 directly. I've never studied these other lines. Probably I would do this. Hope that my opponent would transpose to a classical with knight f3, but I play that line with black. Yeah, but you should either play c5 or knight a6. This line is not great because of e5. I lost with Ilya Fiegler. I almost lost to Palatnik. I think this line is just not good enough. So you got to play knight a6 or c5. This is the alternative. I don't know much about it. It may transpose to knight a6 in some lines. If you play e5, d5, knight c5 later on, it will transpose. So this, I don't know anything. I am completely out of my element here. c6, like a way of sort of preparing e5. Basically, any setup where white plays bishop g5 against the King's Indian is intended to kind of stop e5. There are some lines where black plays c6 to try to sort of preempt his ability to play, or improve his ability to play e5. The idea is that white won't have the d5 square if you play e5. I have no knowledge of this. This is totally wrong. Can I ask if the alcohol drinking is under control? Damn, dude. I slept really badly last night. I need more alcohol. I drank like a beer and a half tonight. I probably sound like I'm drunk. I haven't, been drinking enough. I'm out of practice. I'm extremely tired. c6, knight f3. This is just like you never ever play queen c7. Never. You never ever play queen c7 in the King's Indian, ever. It's something you do in the old Indian. He is kind of stuck though. But I don't see the problem here, man. Like e5. You just played c6. There's no knight d5. So this was, this is Kasparov. This position is probably in all the Averbach books. No, not rook e8, because your rook gets shut down if white plays d5. Check this out. Kaidanov. I knew this position. I've looked at this before. Kaidanov played the Averbach against me, actually. We had a game. And when I played h6, he played... I lost that stupid game. I always played horrible against him for some reason. There's certain players you play and you always play like a baby. Like a screaming baby. When you play them for some reason. It's just like luck or just the way the ball bounces. But I played Kaidanov like 3 times. Every time I played like an idiot. It was really weird. Other grandmasters I had, I wasn't like psyched out or anything. I just happened to play like an idiot every time I played the guy. It was weird. Just coincidence. But this is a terrible move. This is a terrible square for the queen. You never ever want to do this. It's very hard for the queen to get into an active role from c7. And you're playing against a grandmaster. It's not like you're playing against some random guy, This isn't the average 2200 playing white. You can't afford to make mistakes. This is the 2200 type move, what you did here with queen c7. White's played very systematically. Now rook e8, bang. Obviously, like, Papagiannou is a strong player. I don't know him personally. But the general rule is, if you guys want to follow Reshevsky's book, which I think is awesome, The Art of Positional Play, this is standard stuff. Like, wait for black to play rook e8 and then you close the center with d5. Now c5, and we have this ugly King's Indian. I've mentioned that another book all the time, Soltis, Confessions of a Chess Grandmaster, where he plays a lot of King's Indians and dragons. And he's written some stupid books like The Stonewall Attack for white. But he was a great player. A good player. And he is an author, so he knows how to explain his own games. In that book, there's a lot of King's Indians very similar to this. I think that someone like Dinekis would really benefit from reading that book. The analysis of King's Indian style games by a grandmaster. I mean, but this is a bad setup. Queen c7, it's just like lame. Okay, white has to reset now his whole position. White's going to play for b4, try to batten down the hatches on the king side. For me, this is a strange move, a slightly strange move. But maybe not. Maybe not bad. He has a different plan. He's going to try to play on the king side here. Also Reshevsky and Petrosian, you know. This is a beautiful maneuver. I lost a game against, rest in peace, Frias, Victor Frias. I am from Chile, who used to live in the United States. And Victor just crushed me exactly like this when I was like 2200. Very similar. So now black will prepare for action on the F file if he can. H6 is strange. I don't get it. Why are you playing H6? The plan is F5. So okay, I don't like black's setup, and there's very little play. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's no answers really for Dmitry here. You're getting crushed by a grandmaster who's a very positional guy, and he's playing well. But I don't like H6. I guess white was a little overconfident. I still think, and I'm sure that if Victor Frias was alive today, he would say that white should play A3 and B4. And that's what he did against me. White's... There's no F4, F5, I mean. So we just go A3, Rook B1, B4. That's the standard plan. Soltis would say the same thing. Why does white have to play on the king side here? You definitely go for B4, and then wheedle your way in the queen side. You've played A6, so the B6 square is weak. It's very subtle. This is maybe some sort of tactical mistake, but I think it's the wrong idea, you know, for him to attack you on the king side. He should be waiting, you know, for you to play F5, and then he'll like blockade the king side. Instead, he's trying to attack you over there. This may still be good for white, honestly. But it's like, look at his rooks. Are his rooks in the right places? Like, do you play F4 when your rooks are on C1 and D1? No, you play F4 when your like rooks are on E1 and D and F1. This is totally not appropriate. His rooks are in the wrong place. What is this rook on C1? What is he doing? This is a good move, but you got to fix your rooks. The rooks belong over there. He fixed his queen. Yeah, and then I guess there's a problem here with the E3 bishop. If white could play rook F1 and rook E1, he would, but there's no time to do both. Bang. Alright, is this enough? Can we just play bishop G1? Game. And then black doesn't have really a plan. He's hanging out with his knight like a fishing pole thing. So you've gone too far. You've gone too far. What do we got here? Can you play F5? No, because of H6. See, if you had played H6 back to H7, looks decent, actually. Would it work, though? We play F5. F5 takes, rook takes E3, queen E3, bishop D4. Even that might not be enough. So what if you play queen D8 right away, and then he plays knight back? Maybe you should go here, actually. Knight F3. I mean, you've got a bad Benoni here. Let's just face it. That's the problem. I'm not sure what you had, though. Was black ever okay? Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. The computer says black is better here. Why? I really find it very hard to believe. Knight f6 with a d knight, bearing down on e4. What would happen if, say, bishop f3, you've got knight g4 now, and you pick up his bishop? So that's the key to the position. If you play knight df6, you have knight g4, and you're going to pick up one of his bishops. And suddenly, you're fine. That wasn't easy to see. I mean, this is I feel for Dmitry, because this is a very unnatural move. You almost never would want to do that, leaving your other knight back on g8. But he can't stop this. So apparently, unless white has some crazy breakthrough like e5 or something, which maybe he should try, by the way. I don't know. Because this pawn could be strong. But basically, white played kind of recklessly. And black let him get away with it. And now it's too late. And now the Grandmaster's got you in the zone. And now the pawn center just avalanche. Game over. Crushing. But Dmitry had huge chances. White was reckless. He was very reckless. Clearly a great player. But you're dead now. There's no competition for these pawns. So he lost. What happened here at the end? The game slips. White was winning but played too fast with e6. Losing to the tactic knight takes d3. Bishop hanging. With a winning position, he blunders this, rushing with e6. Look at that. He thought it was over, man. He thought it was over. But the g6 is protected, actually. So that's the point. Wow. He miscalculated something. So this pawn isn't going anywhere. And now black just has the bishop pair. Wow, that was a lucky escape, though. He even has bishop c6. I gotta go, guys. I'm tired. I'm gonna take a quick look at DK Guy's game. But this was agreed to a draw here, which is fair. It looks like Dmitry is almost winning with bishop c6. Okay, there was a lot of mistakes. There were a lot of mistakes in that game from both sides. It's a simul game. Finally, it's a draw. But it's fair, like the end was probably a fair draw. White is only like slightly worse, according to the engine. Guys, I gotta go. It's been super late. DK Guy. Where is DK Guy's game? Just so he plays for our team. 5-minute game against 2500. Take it for what it is. Color commentary. Alright. DK Guy, wow, look at that white. It's like a... That looks like an ice shelf. Dude, check his... Is that a glacier? I thought the glaciers were melting. The great glaciers are like building again. Damn, dude, nice glacier. He is from Denmark, so I don't know. He likes cold stuff. It looks like a glacier. d4, e6, knight f3, f5, g3. Capablanca Alyakin. Black had the audacity to play b6. Bishop g2, bishop b7. But, okay, castles. Basically, DK Guy is a big wimp. Like, whenever he's white in this Fianchetto stuff, why do you never play, like, the critical line? Like, c4 is, like, game over for white. You're always doing that in, like, the King's Indian. You play, like, b3. No, the Queen's Indian, you were doing b3 all the time, or not playing c4. Do you know this variation, like, practically loses by force for black after c4? It's horrible for black. I mean, it's like the worst Queen's Indian ever. You're gonna play d5 and just smash him into little pieces. Black can't play the... You can't play the Lasker Bauer, you know. You can't do that. I saw Chernyshov try to do that. Chernyshov tried to play... He tries to play like d4, f5, knight f3, b6. I mean, come on. You can't do that. The Larson Dutch or whatever. This is terrible, man. But DK guy is going to be like easy on him and not play c4 and d5. c4 and d5 will just kill black. There it is, Chernyshov, see? 2010. Ryazantsev, Chernyshov, DK guy. The guy just smashes him. b3. Come on. Now you only have like a slight advantage instead of like killing him completely. Yeah, I mean, black's got a completely reasonable game. Knight e4, maybe. Dude, trading pieces. You're playing like Keith Arkle. It looks like a Keith Arkle endgame grind with white now. DK guy, unbelievable. You've been hanging out with Schieberspieler too much. I mean, this is just like... Trading pieces. Draw. Okay. This is the solid DK guy. Not the psycho one. But I wonder here. What should black do? I mean, I'm a little concerned about e4. And we've got weaknesses on the white squares. How about like queen c8, queen b7? Is that a crazy idea? Switch diagonals? I know the king was trying to come the other way, but let's check it out. Is this stupid? Put my queen on b7. The Fianchetto replicant. I don't know. It's an idea anyway. That's always good, right? So this is nice and indefensible. It's a problem in the Queen's Indian that night, though. I was wondering if you can play e4 and leave your rook here, like queen e1. But I have the feeling this probably doesn't work. Black could always play d5 or something. I wish black had put the queen on b7. Honestly. Alright, guys. So bang, and white just has a better ending. That's the end of the line. But it's nice, like DK guy senses that weakness on e6. Weakness. But let's stop for a minute. I mean, can't he do something about this? Like, what about knight e4? Let's wake up and try to find something sensible here. Wouldn't it be good to stop that? f3, and it's coming anyway. Just a slower version. A watered down version of e4. It's still going to break through. Just not quite as dangerous as it used to be. But at least we can slow it down a little bit. Black basically didn't do anything. He's like, okay, blah, 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 queen h5. Well, you don't want to trade queens, obviously. So this is basically a blunder. Queen h5, queen g6. Ugh. And now you're just crashing through. It looks like a Massachusetts defense. The e6 square. You know you're good when your Dutch defense is like collapsing on e6 and move 15. Not good. Seriously. It's over. This is the solid DK guy. The only thing is, okay, we're good. We can take with the queen. There's no queen f2 check or something fancy. You took with the bishop. You were afraid of that, admit it. Like you were afraid of queen f2 check. I definitely want to take with the queen, though, because we're forcing a trade of queens, aren't we? Oh, he has this. Oh, no. Maybe DK guy saw this. I just completely missed this. That's Just ridiculous. I can't believe it. And now our pieces are hanging. Damn. So you took with the bishop, and it's momentarily awkward. It looks like black has threats on the e-file, knight g4. Suddenly, like, there's some danger here. But he took this. I can't believe it. A lot of people are so materialistic. I mean, this looks strong. You've got threats of knight g4. I think after queen c2, it's possible that rook c1 and rook c7 is strong. It may be that DK guy just busts through here. This 7th rank collective, it's like a King's Indian. You eat your way down on the c-file and you smash through laterally on the 7th rank. Very standard procedure in the King's Indian. That's basically what happens here. Bang, bang. Take another pawn. Damn, dude. How materialistic is this guy? Yen Peterson, 2400. Talk about a pawn grabber. Damn, he is seriously materialistic. Wow. And then this. I wouldn't take the first pawn. I like this for black. I mean, I think he's got reasonable chances here. Rook e8. I know that white has a check or something, but... No, objectively, I don't know. Knight f3. It's a little awkward. Like, how does white, you know, f4, maybe I really take this? I'm not sure about that. Black's coordinated. How bad is this? +1. It's like +1. Come on. How about knight g4? Surprisingly, like, black has nothing. Check, rook f7, f4. He's a pawn down, okay. But I mean, still, this just feels very materialistic. Take, queen c2, rook c1 here. And now we're in big danger. It was a blitz game, though. You can't blame him completely. So he's getting ready for like a DK guy murder. Very similar to our game that we lost in endgame against DK guy ages ago. I mean, we're real close to some nasty tactics here with queen g4. Could you imagine if this was a winning move? Like queen g4? Oh my god, no. You're kidding me. I actually thought of that. I swear to God, I saw this on my own. Without the engine. How sick is that move? I'm surprised DK didn't see it. It's something like he would like this kind of theme. That's devastating. Knight takes g4, rook takes g7, check. King h8, and then rook takes knight. It's just lights out. What happens if rook f7? It's just over. Let's look at rook f7. Because if rook f7, then queen knight g4 is possible. That's why I wasn't sure. You can play queen e6, which looks really brutal. And then this is threatened, and then black has to play like rook f8. And then you can like... Gotta be something devastating here. This is hanging. Bishop f6, queen d2 bothers me. It feels like there's something here for white. But this problem exists. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. Yeah, I mean, DK guy could never play this line. He has to find freaking rook e2 now. +5 for white if you play rook e2. That's like a tactics problem. That's like a standard lichess tactics puzzle. Rook e2. I mean, give me a break. Find the best move for white. You sit there for like a day and you're like, okay, bishop f6. No. This is the winning move for white. Rook e2. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. That was a beautiful line, though. Impossible to play it. Bishop c5 here. Knight e4. Bang. Up the exchange. Game over. Nice knowing you. See you later. Good technique. Trade the rooks if possible. No pawns left. It's over. Good game, DK guy. Surprised you didn't find queen g4, but the follow-up was a little difficult. I don't think we would find it. That's why my tactics rating is 2300. I can't see rook e2. Anyway, DK guy, good game. Thanks everybody for watching. We're going to be back tomorrow morning. See you for the streamer battle and Simon on Sunday. Appreciate the support, guys. Thanks everybody who supported the stream this week. Mr. Slow, Move 11, Fortuna Chess, as well as WJ Loof today with 3,000 bits. Mr. Slow, Jim. Thank you for support, guys. Mate 27. I'll see you guys later. Thanks everybody for watching and being part of the stream. Take care now. Bye. All right.